Hey guys, Noodle here. Welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a thumbnail like this. Now this is a thumbnail from my recent video, the No Breaks Challenge, and if you haven't watched it already, go and watch it. Much appreciated if you do. So basically, what we're going to do is create this thumbnail so you guys, if you make YouTube videos, will know how to create awesome looking thumbnails. So let's get right into it. So first off, you need to get a graphics software, whether that's Photoshop, Microsoft Paint, something like that, Adobe Illustrator, any of those will work. There's quite a few free ones online that are quite good as well. You can use one of those. As long as you know the basics of how to use it, it should be fine. You need to go to File, New, and then when you get to your canvas settings, put the width at 1920 and the height at 1080. And then put that in pixels. Now the resolution, I always put at 300 to make it more crisp and clear. With the bit, I always do 8 or 16. I usually do transparent for thumbnails. If you do white, it'll basically mean it starts off as a white canvas. But I'm just going to choose transparent for this video, and then click OK. So once you've got this, you need to paste an image in the background. So that's the image I've got, a screenshot from the game. So what you want to do there is go into File, Place, or Import in other softwares. Find where your screenshot is, and then double click it, import it. Now what you want to do is go into your layers, right click the image and rasterize. So once you've rasterized your image, you want to go to Filter, Gaussian Blur, under the blur settings, so Blur, Gaussian Blur, and then choose whatever you like, whether it's high, which is extremely blurred, or low. I usually like 9, that's quite good for me. Okay, and then you've got your blurred image. Now what I do with this thumbnail is I put a explosion icon over here to make it look like the trucks hit the van. Search up explosion icon, that's all I did. Now you can choose any of these as long as it's a transparent image. So what you need to do basically is just search up explosion icon transparent or PNG, something like that. So I'm just going to copy and paste it in Photoshop. So to paste things in Photoshop, there is no sort of like right click paste, so you've just got to do Control and V and it pastes it. Now when you paste like a picture, most of the time it will come up with this background. So to get rid of that, you have to right click and then you have to rasterize, but you can see that rasterize is grayed out for this. So what you want to do is convert it to a smart object, right click again, and then rasterize is unlocked, so rasterize layer. Then you want to come over here, third icon down, magic wand tool. And you want to click that, and then you can see you've got like a little fairy one. Click on the background and you can see you've got all of these marching ants around the icon, and then simply just click delete and then you get the icon on its own. Now to get rid of these marching ants, the command you'll need is Control D, and then you have this. Now what you do is press Control T to sort of scale it around and stuff, and then again I'm going to hold Shift to keep like this size and just scale it down, and then I'm going to have whatever I think looks good. And now you notice it's not blurred like the background, so that's fine. All I'm going to do now is go to Filter and then blur this. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to group these two things together as one piece. So I'm just going to hold Control or Command on Mac and click both the layers and then press Control E to make it one layer. So that basically means this is one whole image now. So if I move this around, that explosion icon would go exactly where it is, but just move with the image. Right, so now we have our image blurred and the explosion icon. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a rounded corner on it. Now, a rounded corner is basically just this, so it looks a bit more snazzy and fancy in YouTube, basically. That's all the purpose is. If you don't want rounded corners, I will put a timestamp on screen now of when you can skip to when I finish the rounded corners. But if you want to know how to put rounded corners on your thumbnails, continue watching and I'll do it now. Right, so when we want rounded corners, all I'm going to do is create a new layer down here. And then I'm going to go down to the tool where you can create shapes. And then I'm going to press the rounded rectangle tool. Now, by default, your radius will be something silly like 6. But for rounded corners, I tend to like 150 pixels. So just type 150 up here, and then you'll be good. Now, what you want to do is basically line the crosshairs up with the two edges of the image. Hold, and then just drag out to the bottom corner. And then do the same thing, and then click. So that's fine. It doesn't matter what colour the rectangle is, so that'll be fine. Now what you want to do is duplicate this layer by right clicking duplicate. Okay, so now you've got these two layers, you want to hold control and click the other one to then right click them again. Now what you want to do is merge the layers, but you can't do that yet, so you've got to rasterize the layers and then you can merge the layers. So once you've merged the layers, you want to hold control and click this. And then what you want is the magic wand tool again, and just click the outline of the whole thing so it does this. So you should have marching ants around the background and the rounded rectangle. Now once you've done that, you need to get your paint bucket tool over here, get a white fill and just fill that white. Right, so once you've filled all of this in, press Ctrl D again to get rid of the marching ants, and then you have your rounded corner thumbnail. Well done. Right, so now you've got your rounded thumbnails, what we need to do now is add some text. Before I do that, I like thumbnails to be dark. Now, some people might not like thumbnails to be that dark, others might, but for me, I like them dark, so all I'm going to do is create a new layer. This little icon down here is new layer, and then I'm going to change my fill color to black, and I'm basically just going to hold the paint bucket and just click, and it will fill the whole thing black. Lower the opacity of this. If you do have rounded thumbnails, you don't want the white background to be darker than just normal white. So what you want to do there is click the magic wand tool again, click onto the rounded rectangles layer, and just click the white, so you've got the marching ants again, and then simply just click back into the black rectangle and click delete, and then you get back to a white background. The last bit, and probably the most fun bit, is adding the text. So to do this, just click the text icon. So I'm just going to type no, and then I'm going to create all these in separate layers. So click a tick on no, right again breaks, and then just challenge. Right, so that's good. Then just click tick. You want to make it look a bit more snazzy and more attractive to people to click on. So to do this, I like to add gradients and drop shadows and outer glow sort of thing. Get in this option, just right click on your layer, blending options, and then click on gradient overlay. Now this will be the overlay you get by default. I don't really like this, it's a bit of a dull gradient to be honest, so I make my own gradients. Now these are the gradients I've made. So I'm just going to click OK once you've got your gradient. Click drop shadow, so that just looks a little bit nicer, and outer glow. Then just change the settings of the outer glow because this looks absolutely horrendous. And then basically just copy the layer style of that and then paste that to the challenge. Challenge and then paste layer style. So it does the same thing for both words. Now for the breaks, this is the word that I want to emphasize more. So I want to make this word both bigger and more brighter. So I'm going to choose a different gradient. So now you want to place them around the thumbnail as you want. Now this is up to you where you want to put them. I don't like choosing the same place for every video. So I'm just going to change it up a little bit. Right guys, so I've placed the text how I want it looking. So I've added a few other options. So I've made the text a little bit more rotated. Just now what I like to do is add the final touch, which is what game it is. So I'm just going to type Euro Truck. So now that's done, I want to make this italic, so basically a little bit slanted. Go into character styles and then click new, double click this, and then forks italic, and it makes the text italic. So guys, that is your thumbnail complete. That's how I make my thumbnails. As you can see, it's pretty similar to this one, maybe just a little bit more tweaked. But that's basically how I make my thumbnails in not very long. I think it's about 20 minutes making this. The video is going to be a lot shorter though. So yeah, if you want more videos like this, more tutorials in Photoshop, I'll be happy to make them. I love Photoshop. So that's about that for this video guys. Until the next one, take care. Goodbye.